efforts to vote by mail. He went on the record yesterday admitting that he opposes additional funding for the post office because it would help mail-in voting.
They want $3.5 billion for the mail-in votes. Okay, universal mail-in ballots. 3.5 trillion. They want $25 billion for the post office. Now, they need that money in order to have the post office work so it can take all of these millions and millions of ballots. Now, in the meantime, they aren't getting there. By the way, those are just two items. But if they don't get those two items, that means you can't have universal mail-in voting because they're not equipped to have it.
If the post office, if they're not going to approve a bill and the post office therefore won't have...
This is what we call self-snitching in the driest way possible. Like, editors insert, "Oh my God, he admitted" meme right here. Because we will probably be posting this on YouTube because this is a ridiculous fucking thing that's going on right now. But he did. He just admitted it. He often does. And it's remarkable because people seem to not care. And this is despite the fact that the USPS is an incredibly popular government agency. It is the most popular, I think, government agency, as a matter of fact. Everybody loves the Postal Service. You know, it doesn't matter. Storms, hurricanes, snow, nothing stops the USPS. The real boys in the blue. If we were to... My mom is chiming in and said, except for Trump. I like that you're giving your feedback there, Mom. From the kitchen. Anyway, so... And once it's gone, people will cry about not having it and blame the left. No, they won't. They won't. They'll just keep saying, no, it's great that we privatized it when it's not great. And when leftists try to recover the U.S. Postal Service, then they'll say, no, we simply cannot have such a costly, such a vast, such a large, sizable government program. I mean, what do you want? Communism? What do you want? You want communism, dude? Is that what you want? Because that's what it is. When you have a government agency delivering mail, that's communism. That's literally communism, brother. Anyway, so let's hear what else Donald Trump had to say about it.
The money, and if they're not going to approve a bigger bill, and they're not going to have the $3.5 billion for the universal mail-in votes, how can you have those votes?
Given that the negotiations are still ongoing about whether to get more money to the Postal Service, why not put more resources and more money yourself? Find a way to do that to make sure there is a...
Well, they can do it very easily. All they have to do is make a deal. If they make a deal, the Postal Service is taken care of. The money they need for the mail-in ballots would be taken care of if we agree to it. That doesn't mean we're going to agree to it. But all they have to do is make a deal.
Okay, so here's the thing. It's the quiet part that you're saying out loud when you're trying to cheat. You know, using your whole corruption stuff that you do. I know you watch. Do you think Americans are that ditzy?
Get her, sis.
Do you think they're not going to hear you actually say...
Yes. By the way, yes. Do you think Americans are that ditzy? Yes. At this point, I have swallowed the black pill whole. I am in a deep state of nihilism and despair. I don't think that Americans will turn around and be like, this is kind of fucked up. Like, they will, especially Republicans, especially really dumb chud Republicans. And that seems like, it seems like I don't need to repeat myself when I say very dumb Republicans, but still, I truly believe that they will probably find a way to like turn this around and like attack the left or it is a redundancy. They'll find a way to attack like Nancy Pelosi or some shit on this. I mean, Trump yesterday also lied and said it was Democrats that increased the stamp prices for mail-in ballots from 25 cents, I believe, to 50 cents, which is just not true. You know what I mean? That is just like he already has started teasing how he's going to blame the Democrats by just, doing the most effective thing he's always done, which is lying. It's very cool. Here, this one, everybody hates this one simple trick. If you want to win the presidency, here's this undeniable trick that you can do. Lie. Just lie. Okay? This is the reason why I don't do Chad advice anymore. Because my advice for you, half the time in relationships, is exactly the same thing that Trump uses to get out of sticky situations. Just lie. Just lie. Because we are so far into our party loyalty at this point that it truly doesn't matter. Yeah, doctors hate him.
The quiet part out loud that you want to cheat in the election. The president's remarks follow reporting from the Washington Post that the Republican National Committee and conservative groups are pursuing an unprecedented effort to limit the expansion of mail balloting before the election, spending tens of millions of dollars on lawsuits and advertising aimed at restricting who receives.
The next time a Democrat is in a position of power, if they don't push for universal mail-in ballots, no matter what, like it doesn't matter. It does not have to be during a pandemic. It doesn't have to be during anything. If they're not pushing for universal mail-in ballots and protection for the U.S. Postal Service, like additional funding, they're completely, I'm done. But I'm not done. It doesn't matter. I'm lying to you right now when I say I'm done, because I can never be done. Because in this country, you can't be done. You just, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Not care? Tap out? Decide that it's okay? And then 5 years later, I'm like in jail because I'm the Antifa CEO? This sucks. The way that our politics is built is so that it's virtually impossible to be like, yeah, I don't really care. Fuck it. Who cares? This sucks. I just want to grill. I can't grill. If the USPS is so great, then why aren't they in Europe? Good one. Don't they also do a lot of international packages too? Like it's one of the few ways that you can actually get mail over to military posts worldwide. Wow, Trump sure hates the military.
Receives ballots and who remains on the voter rolls. Joe Biden is hitting back after President Trump signaled opposition to funding for the post office. Here's the former vice president, along with comments from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Thank you, guys. Come on, guys.
Funding for the Postal Service tying it to mail-in voting. What do you think about that?
Pure Trump.
Okay, guys, let's go. Let's go. Come on.
He doesn't want an election.
The president is afraid of the American people. He's been afraid for a while. He knows that on the legit, it'd be hard for him to win.
Yeah, the funniest fucking part about this is when this is exactly like when toothless motherfuckers in Appalachia are like, I actually fucking hate socialism. I'm going to vote for Donald Trump over and over again. This is nearly identical to that situation when they turn around and say, yeah, it's actually fake news. We got to defund the USPS. Like, bitch, how are you going to get your chickens? Huh? How the fuck are you going to get your mail, jackass? You think UPS is going to take it there? No. Ain't nobody going up the mountains unless they have to. You idiot. Yeah, Hasan, being rather classist, are you? Yeah, I am being classist. Suck with your gums. It's so stupid. You're not even going to get, first of all, you're never going to get the same delivery, the same kind of delivery that you expect from the USPS because they have to. They're not a for-profit organization. You might not even get any delivery at all. Half the time, all of these really far away rural areas that don't have a lot of foot traffic, when they deliver something by UPS, it's UPS relying on USPS.
You don't love the spirit of justice.
So good job. Good luck.
The devil.
I still think about that time, that video that we watched on stream, the documentary that we watched on stream from I think it was DW or something. It was that German broadcaster of the guy who literally would provide healthcare services for free in really just destroyed parts of Africa, going to the Appalachian Mountains and offering free healthcare and dental services to thousands of people that live there and voted for Trump and were very excited to vote for him again and would do it twice. Like, how do you live in that condition and you think like, no, MAGA's good, brother? Like, how the fuck do you do that? But I guess it's the same as like most liberals being like, no, Joe Biden is the best thing. Joe Biden is the best person that we can get. Dropping medicine from airplanes.
You don't
like,
love the spirit of justice. You love your father.
Straight up.
Devil.
Straight up America, third world country with a Gucci belt on. Straight the up. We got the bells and whistles. We look nice from afar. America's the greatest nation on earth if you can afford it. And it is just so horrible if you can't. It's just so awful if you can't.
So he wants to put obstacles of participation, but we do not agonize, we organize. And whatever the reality is that we have to deal with. If he refuses to honor the sacred right of the vote, removing obstacles of participation, if he wants to undermine the post office for the moment, we'll be here in January, that's most unfortunate.
Yeah. This is Jonathan Lemire, president, undermining the post office amidst a pandemic, when the post office might be the only way some people can get things because they can't leave their homes, including medicines. And again, the president saying the quiet part out loud, that he's a fraidy cat. He sees the polls, he's losing, and so he's going to find a different way to win, which is basically to try and undermine the election itself by undermining the post office, by saying the results can't be counted. I just wonder how ditzy.
Only 12% of the population is poor in America, not too shabby in my opinion. Yeah, okay, Bastiat's alt account. Like, we were having the conversation about fucking middle-class Americans. Yeah, you know, middle-class Americans that are doing so well, dude. Like, no matter which way you cut it, 40% of Americans don't have $400 extra for emergency spending, okay? 40%.
Dedicate 10 minutes
like,
of your stream to the
that's the stat that I care about. Not that's the stat that I care about. Not well, technically, if you look at it in a different way, well, American middle class is still pretty robust. I mean, look at that, $100,000 in annual household income. I couldn't say that. I wouldn't actually say that that's poor. Yeah, it's not technically poor. It just means you can't afford most. My parents make over $120K a year and live paycheck to paycheck. We don't have nice things, just paying college and sports fees. Yeah, like, it's $3.5 billion for USPS funding after we've given corps $5 trillion to keep the stock market up. We're the radical socialist philanthropic billionaires to pay for this $3 billion. Dude, that's the other thing. I was talking to a friend of mine who is in finance, okay? And I have a bunch of them because I went to Rutgers, and it's one of the schools that where their finance programs are scouting grounds for Goldman and places like that. And first of all, they hate their lives. One common thing that I always hear from my friends who work at big banks is that they despise their lives, not only because they work 80 hours a week. That is certainly a significant factor. And I know I got some finance bros in here too, but they work 80 hours a week. They make good money, but they work fucking insane hours. But that's not the only reason. Every time I talk to them, they're like, dude, like, I'm making all this money, but the things that we're doing are insane. Like, the things that we are doing are so bad. It hurts my soul. Like, I know I'm just a cog in the machine, and I try to not think about the outcomes of the actions that I take, but holy it is like, if you have like a conscience, every single one of them is like, I want to get out and like at least do like some sort of like social consciousness hedge fund or something, which of course I'm not going to dunk on him for saying that, and describe to him how all of those like social consciousness hedge funds are still just to make you feel a little bit better, but overall still skamazing most people. It's just so it's so shitty. And I do think that a lot of millennials, maybe younger ones especially, that are now working in finance probably recognize the horrific conditions that Americans are subjected to. At least anecdotally, that is the case.
Kill Mexican babies?
Yeah, all the job. I mean, I was trying to find a job, kept finding pyramid scheme insurance jobs. Yeah, That was me when I graduated from college, or before I graduated from college with honors, mind you. Every single job opportunity that was available to me was just, hey, join our insurance scam so you can sell your friends and family life insurance.
Well, first, Mika, you make a very good point. This is not just about the election in November. The Postal
Make a very
Service
good point,
is a
Mika,
vital
about
US
how stupid
institution
Republicans
all
are.
the time, but particularly now during the pandemic, where for many Americans it is their way to reach the outside world, where they can receive everything from a birthday card from a family member they can't see right now because of the pandemic, or of course vital medication that they need. So that should be stressed off the top. But you're right. The game here is plain, and as you say, he's saying the quiet part out loud. The Republican National Committee and a lot of conservative groups have been filing tens of millions of dollars of lawsuits to slow mail-in voting throughout the country. Even though Republicans in the past have benefited from that practice, the president has asserted time and again, without evidence, that it will be used to conduct widespread voter fraud. He has convinced himself, he's told aides privately, that he feels like that is how the Democrats are going to steal the election from him. So what he is doing here is choking it off. We're already seeing delays in Postal Service throughout the country. We're seeing states, including I believe Pennsylvania last night, a vital battleground, which is going to have far more mail-in balloting this time around because of the pandemic. He's already sounding the alarms that they're not going to be able to handle the capacity there with the post office being so diminished. The president, has fought efforts, despite what he said in the White House yesterday. He has fought efforts to expand funding there. That's one of the major topics of disagreement between his negotiators, the White House negotiators, and Democrats trying to hammer out this bill. And yes, this is in part to sow chaos and doubt in the most American of institutions, the ballot. That this is going to slow things down. The results, as we've been saying on this show for a while, Mika, as you know, it is unlikely that we're going to be able to declare a winner on election night. This is going to, because of the pandemic, because of the process to count these votes, it's going to take days and weeks, and that potentially, and that isn't going to allow him to assert fraud, to open up investigations, to suggest that results are not legitimate. It's going to be harder for Americans to vote, and President Trump believes easier for him to claim fraud.
I can't do this. I can't wrap my head around how stupid Americans can be. Like, this has to backfire. This has to. If this doesn't backfire, if this doesn't get a significant amount of backlash from Republicans as well, which, by the way, these polling numbers also reflect that reality. There is so much support for expanding voting access. There's so much support for the Postal Service to begin with. Like, Postal Service, the USPS is one of the most popular, if not the most popular government agency. Okay? It is infinitely more popular than Congress, obviously. And it's infinitely more popular than any number of different government agencies, with ICE being the least popular. So, like, the things that Trump likes and wants to beef up, ICE, least popular. The things that Trump dislikes and wants to defund, USPS, most popular. It is like 91% public support last time I looked at it. So it is remarkable if he's able to pull this off. Like, this is and by the way, the reason why it's popular is because it's similar to the NHS.
You don't love the
because it's a functioning,
you love your father, the
it is a functioning, nationalized, or rather socialized government service. It's the government doing its job, which is, of course, always going to poll well with people. The government is hard work and it's very expensive. But when it gets adequate funding, so what is daughter of a KGB agent and CIA agent saying is Democrats cannot win without fraud? So what this daughter of a KGB agent and a CIA agent is saying? Wait, what? Democrats cannot win without fraud? What are you saying? Anime, our favorite esteemed QAnon supporter. Democrats cannot win without fraud? What? In this country? God, why are QAnon supporters so insane, dude? No, Sanime is not just any gray name. Sanime is a QAnon, our resident QAnon psycho. And they sit in this chat all day long, like 12, 13 hours. And it is remarkable that I can't change their mind on a single issue.
Of justice.
Your takes are insane. Yes, I have insane takes. Like, we should fund the we should fund the U.S. Postal Service so that we can have universal mail-in ballot. We can have universal mail-in ballots at a time when the coronavirus pandemic is going to peak again. What an insane take. I know, guys. I'm fucking out of my mind, dude. I am cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Best way to get consensus between two opposing groups is to alienate and slander them. Republicans stupid. I mean, yeah. At this stage, there's a certain kind of Republican that is too dumb to save. And yeah, I'm going to make memes about it. So yeah, sorry that I'm not treating someone who says stuff like every Democrat that opposes Donald Trump is actually a part of an international sex trafficking pedophile crime ring. I can't believe I'm not taking that person seriously and instead belittling them. Oh my Lord. Oh, here, by the way, this is the other thing that we were going to talk about, of course. So this is the second part of the conversation that we were supposed to have, which is that the U.S. Postal Service is popular, and yet the U.S. Postal Service is warning that 46 states are having their voters potentially disenfranchised by delayed mail-in ballots at a time when Portland and New York City, at least according to eyewitness testimony on the ground, is seeing their mailboxes get packed up and put on trucks and carried away. Now you might be asking, why? Why is that happening? Well, apparently, at least according to the U.S. Postal Service spokesperson, it's because there's less mail traffic in these regions, so there is no need for those mailboxes. The New York one apparently it could be for maintenance, but the Portland one they claim is because there's no need for them. We don't know about all of these other places that are getting a reduction in mailboxes currently, but I know for a fact that was their response for Portland. So this isn't enough yet.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
So far, the only one that I trust, the only news sources on this that I trust, the only news sources on this that I trust, the only news coverage on this that I trust is from Portland. Oh yeah, here. W Week confirmed the Trump administration is stealing USPS mailboxes. I cannot believe Trump is making it hard to send mail and vote in November. W Week. The Willamette Week is Portland's favorite media company. Sign up for our daily newsletter. Okay. Who uses Dropbox anyway? It just seems like they're saving time by getting rid of them. What? Of course people use Dropboxes. Even if it's like 25% of people that use Dropboxes, I don't know what the exact number is, but even if it's like 25% of people that use Dropboxes, that's an additional 25% of people that are now going to overwhelm the Postal Service by engaging in direct delivery or make it harder for shipping and packaging and sending stuff. Also, people use Dropboxes literally all the time. Just because you get your chicken tendies delivered to you directly by your mommy doesn't mean that other people don't need Dropboxes. I don't get it, though. Aren't the people who most like to use USPS old people and rural people, which is Trump's voting base? Well, let's take a look at where the reductions are happening. This is from Jacob Bogadje. I don't know how to say his last name. Got USPS data showing at least 671 USPS mail sorting machines have been removed across the country since June. Represents a reduction in national mail sorting capacity of 21.4 million pieces of mail per hour. Let's take a look at what the areas were that got that reduction. Let's take a look. USPS sent most states a heightened warning that some mailed ballots may arrive too late. Disenfranchising 100 or potentially threatening 186 million voters. USPS expressed difficulty in assessing DC's and Vermont's deadlines, which had not been finalized. For Alaska, USPS expressed heightened concern about statewide absentee ballot program, but no concerns about the deadlines for all mail elections. Actual election fraud. I'm going to assume some of the people have never mailed a letter, bill, or package to someone. LMAO. Yeah, living in a city, I rely entirely on boxes because I don't have a mailbox. Reduce the number of drop boxes, save time, more efficient, saving costs. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate from a business perspective. Maybe there was an oversaturation of drop boxes in America and the media is hyping it up to propagate a specific narrative. Wait, what are you talking about, dude? Do you not understand how this works? It doesn't save time. It makes things worse. What are you talking about? Not having mailboxes does not save time. It makes the sorting capacity first of all, the USPS is not a business. Okay, it is a government program. It is specifically designed to be not for profit so that it does the job that it needs to do. Okay, so your business perspective in this circumstance, especially when it comes to efficiency, is silly, because efficiency would mean Alaska doesn't get mail. Okay, that's what efficiency and a business point of view would mean for the people of Alaska. Sorry, you're not getting mail because it's not worth it. It's just too expensive to send mail to Alaska. Okay, it's too expensive to send mail to rural parts of the Appalachian, however you say it, mountains. It's just not efficient enough. Sorry, you are not going to get mail whatsoever. Now, having said that, though, as far as mailboxes goes, that doesn't even improve efficiency. That makes things worse because it holds up postal service at specific locations where you can end up delivering your mail or dropping off your mail. White Americans be like just playing devil's advocate. Yeah, I just don't understand why people who play devil's advocate don't recognize that they're playing devil's advocate against people that truly rely on these services. Oh, if Trump thinks all Democrats are going to vote via mail, let's just class every mail vote as a Dem vote without even opening them. You can't take mail-in ballots to early polling locations. They won't take them on election day, though. Yeah, but that sucks. If you are truly concerned with getting COVID, especially if a second peak, as predicted by epidemiologists, is going to occur right around the time that the election is happening, so that we might have like a mass shutdown, then ensuring that we have a safe way to mail our votes early on in the most efficient way is absolutely, it's absolutely out of the question, without a doubt necessary for our election integrity. It's a necessity for democracy. I live in Maine, and since the population quadruples in the summer, the USPS is what most Mainers have. It's not just rural communities that will get hurt from this.